Aloha and good afternoon. My name is Jürgen Steinmetz and joining you from the Breaking News Show in Honolulu. With me, as always, is Dr. Peter Thaler in College Station, Texas. It's just a beautiful day here in Hawaii. It's about 84 outside. Nice beach weather, clear sky. How's everything in College Station?
Well, I'm jealous uh, because we are now on our 45th day of temperature over 100 degrees. A week from tomorrow, it's supposed to have a cold front. We'll be down to 99 degrees. So if we were in the 80s, I think we'd all be wearing winter coats. So uh, our all of the lawns, it hasn't rained for quite a while also. So our lawns are now a beautiful yellow. Um, and grass is kind of turning to hay. So this is much of the United States is suffering from a terrible heat wave, as is Europe. I just got an email from somebody in Portugal saying how many people were dying in the interior of the country, where it's more poor people live there. And again, uh, Europe is really having an incredibly hard time, as is parts of the United States. On the other hand, it is 60 degrees in Alaska.
Well, there's always a place, right? It's always 5 o'clock somewhere, Peter.
That's right. That's right. But it is definitely.
No, it's cold in South Africa. We talked to our friend Walter, you and I, not too long
Yeah,
ago. He was sitting there with his winter clothes.
right, right.
Freezing.
I'd be
So
very happy to have that type of temperature, not to 0 degrees Celsius, but it is warm here, to say the least. I walk every morning at 4 a.m. in the morning, and it's 80 degrees when I got to walk. And the sun is not going to be up for another 2 or 3 hours.
well, let's enjoy as long as we can. And it's always nice. I always like when it's warmer, better than it's freezing cold. But
I agree with you. It looks like in Europe, this winter is going to be a very cold winter, especially if the Russians shut off the gas. So that's going to be real.
yes, let's hope this doesn't happen. And I guess some of the right-wing leaders, like in Hungary, are rather going to be friends with Russia again. So everything is shifting. And of course, having gas and oil is an important issue
Well,
for.
of course, it's not just the right wing, because you had Angela Merkel, who was not far from right wing, was very good friends with the Russians, and put a lot and signed a major contract with them. So it's both. The Europeans need oil, and they don't have any resources, and they're going to go wherever they can go,
Yeah.
and they're not going to worry about ethics and morality. Europe never has. They're going to worry about heating their homes. In Germany, supposedly, and I haven't been there, you'll be there soon, but besides the fact that Germany is the highest rate of monkeypox in Europe, they're also about the possible need of shutting off the red lights and the traffic lights in Germany for lack of electricity. So I don't know if that will
A lot of the
happen.
traffic lights really aren't necessary in many areas. It's the same anywhere in the world. I mean, I see traffic lights here in at 2 or 3 in the morning, and Germany is not shutting down traffic lights. They're shutting it down between like 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. I guess every little bit counts. But
Well, it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, they'll be able to maintain their electric grid and
exactly.
keep it going. Though
And
I do know they're talking more and more about switching to coal, which is going to really throw all the ecologists into a complete tizzy.
that wouldn't be good news. But so far, Russia has not cut anyone off. They're still producing because they also need the money. So it's a back and forth, and we'll see where this goes. But how's your trip to Mexico is
Well,
coming up?
I'm going to be in Mexico again this week. I'm actually working across the country, and I really think the Mexicans are trying to get a handle on the issue of security, and more I see that their leadership is starting to understand that there's needs for both a national um, security plan with obviously specifics on each area. So what I've suggested to the Mexicans is that there be, just like in medical school, all doctors have a set curriculum that they learn, and then they specialize in the heart or the liver, the hand or the foot or whatever it happens to be. Same thing is going to be needed in Mexico. We're going to need to have a general pattern that all tourism safety people know, and then we're going to need specifics so that if you're in the center of the country, you don't have to study beach tourism, but you might have to study mountain tourism. On the other hand, if you're in a port, then they will be very important to know beach tourism. All right. Yesterday or the day before, I believe 2 Americans drowned from were attacked by crocodiles in Puerto Vallarta, and so that seems to be a problem also in the United States. As you know, we don't have crocodiles in this country; we have alligators, which are similar species. But Florida has had a major problem with alligator attacks, and some of these are also in Mexico. Having said that, the Mexicans are starting to take very seriously the fact that tourism cannot survive if they don't have a safe and secure environment. And they're not there yet, but they're working on it. And I think that's really important.
No, it is. And especially with the bad publicity Mexico had and the drug this needs to be brought under control. And Mexico is one of such countries. There are many others. I mean, here in Hawaii, we had a sword attack, and a guy got lost his hand.
A sword attack.
Sword attack. I'm sorry for my German. and they a guy lost his hand at outside a 7-Eleven when there was a confrontation between two visitors. So yes, you couldn't really prevent this. I mean, unless
So you don't think Hawaii will become a no sword zone?
Even if it does, I don't know.
I know, obviously, Hawaii desperately needs sword control to protect the islands against sword violence.
Well, let's hope not. It's hard to bring such a sword to the island because it's to get it plane, so you can. Yeah, now I was wondering how it got there. But who knows? I actually have one. I brought it back from Mali many, many years ago. And I had it in my overhead luggage when I was going Royal Air Maroc and to Spain, changing planes to Lufthansa. And at Lufthansa, I had the police questioning me for an hour what I'm taking with me. So yes, I'm wondering how it got to Hawaii.
I don't know. Maybe there is an underground sword producing area someplace on the Hawaiian Islands that no one's aware of, and that they are secretly producing swords.
Yeah, but in all fun, it is a tragedy. I mean, Waikiki was one of the most peaceful places when I moved here back in '88. And now we see a lot of not only property crime, we see attacks, we see people getting.
And this is actually better than in 1995. The Consul General of Japan said they were going to put a travel warning and tell all Japanese visitors to avoid Hawaii. And it's from that warning, or warning about a warning would be a better way of saying it, that HVISA, Hawaii Visitor Industry Security Association, was born. I was part of that. And that's how we were able to create, working together, the city government, the state government at the time, the police department, the University of Hawaii, and the district attorneys. And they're really important because if they don't press charges, everything falls apart. The police can arrest you, but if the district attorney doesn't take you to court, it's just a revolving door. And we got everybody to work on the same page. And really, for quite a while, from around 1995 to the middle of maybe 2010, we were really able to reconquer Waikiki. And then I think people got a little bit lazy, and they didn't support the police as much as they needed to. And that's a problem around the world, where people very often, they want to defund the police, and then they discover without police, they don't have security.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the police has to be on the up and up. We had some corruption cases in the police department. So all of this has to match and work in harmony, I guess.
Yes, it is. Well, talking about harmony, one of the other issues that still it's going to impact tourism is the fact that the World Health Organization is now talking about the potential for an international pandemic of monkey virus, which is really an ugly disease. I mean, when you see pictures of it, it just looks, people have bumps all over their body. It's right now more or less assigned to the gay population, but we're now told that it could be you could be transmitted by towel or sheet or bed or on a chair if you're sitting on an airplane. And that again would be very scary because the last thing the tourism industry needs is another pandemic. And we're having chaos with the airports, chaos on the planes, and then we had to end up with a pandemic. It would be very bad.
Yeah, and you can get it from sitting on an airplane seat. That of course is scary, but on the other hand, it can be prevented through cleanliness and through disinfection. So
Yes, it can be. And we do have therapeutics, which we did not have for COVID, but we don't have enough. So what is needed is we need to be producing a great many more of them. And if you've been vaccinated for smallpox, you're pretty safe from monkeypox. Some people think that if they've had chickenpox, that will protect them. That's not true. So the chickenpox, having had chickenpox, you're still open to monkey virus. But if you have had a smallpox vaccine, hypothetically, those vaccines were good for life. Now, I had mine 70 years ago, and when I was 5 years old. So if it's still good 7 years later, I haven't tested it. The other thing, as you know, we've seen the first cases arising of polio in the United States, in New York. And again, the question is there a issue of safety of large numbers of people traveling from one country to another, and therefore we don't have a good health procedure to ferret these types of diseases and not allow them to become worldwide pandemics? Nobody, I don't have the answer.
Yeah, we definitely have our share of health problems coming back, and that is something I guess we all didn't expect. You can probably predict economic situations, but you cannot really predict health scares like this.
No, you have to be really astute to predict it. But the problem is, as tourism grows, as more and more people are traveling, the chances of a person bringing something that's infectious, an infectious disease from one place to the other, is somewhat challenging. And the issue is that in tourism security and safety, we've got to really take seriously the health component, because if not, it could be the undoing of the world's largest industry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just to be fair, monkeypox is not necessarily a deadly, it's an ugly disease, but not deadly.
No, so no, you're absolutely correct. You won't die from it, but it's going to take you out of work for a few weeks until you heal, and it can leave some blisters on your skin.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody wants to get monkeypox.
No, absolutely not. So let's stay safe, Peter. I hope your trip to Mexico is successful.
Yes, everybody's complaining about the heat. I'm going to be in Mexicali, and yesterday the temperature was 52 degrees Celsius, or about 120 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm complaining in Texas, where it's just a mere 104. But my grandfather used to say, no matter what goes on that's bad, it can always be worse. And this will be a perfect example of yes. Everyone's complaining about 104 degrees in Texas. After I come back from Mexicali, 104 degrees will seem cold. I'll need a winter coat.
Well, you're not going to Death Valley in California. I guess that's always
not very far from it. Not too far. I actually fly to San Diego and then cross part of most of California to get to El Centro, California, and then cross the border there. So it is through. It used to be the Mojave Desert, but now they changed it, of course, to the Imperial Valley, because nobody would move to the Mojave Desert, but people would move to the Imperial Valley. So in perfect marketing, change the name and you change the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful area. Of course, the heat, besides, it's kind of a very different landscape, I guess, you find anywhere else.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. What else is news in the world of tourism? You were telling me something about Malta?
Yes, we had an article from Julia Zarp. He used to be the president of Malta Tourism, and he's now someone who criticizes what's going on in Malta. His article we just published on eTurbo News will deal with the fact that Malta has become less and less friendly destination for tourists, that people
Really?
don't care. And there is a lot, and people no longer, even among each other, say hello or good morning. And there needs to be something needs to change. Tourism has changed the island, and he has some suggestions how to
Is
change.
do they change? Is it over touristed? Is it oversaturation? Or is it that people just don't care, or they just don't want tourists?
Well, I think Malta wants tourists, nothing against tourists, but they see it as a given, apparently, according to Julian. And you cannot see it as a given, you have to work for it.
Sure.
He
There's
thinks,
always somebody else willing to take your visitors away from you.
yes, absolutely. So it's an interesting story. Just go to eturbonews.com. You find it about Malta tourism. It's prominent. And there's a lot more. Of course, we're publishing today and have published. A strike at WestJet in Canada was just prevented. There was an agreement with the union, what I guess is good news. And we're going to have a story on monkeypox also coming up. So just take a look at it and keep up to date.
Okay. Um, so we need to keep people healthy and well, and let's try to do a show maybe from the Mexican desert because that would be kind of an interesting place. I'll try to do it by some place that they have a temperature and show everybody the temperature range from. So that people say, "Oh my God, this poor guy is actually right now warmer in Mexico than it is in Saudi Arabia."
Wow. Okay. Well, you have a good trip, and for everyone else, if
All
you
right.
you're watching
Take
this and
care.
you want to watch it again, just stay tuned because we're going to usually repeat it every 2 hours. Or you can always go to breakingnewsshow.com and you find all our various events. In the meantime, stay safe and enjoy your week. It's another week, and let's see what this week brings us.
All right. And try to stay cool if you're in one of the heat waves around the world.
We will. Thank
Yeah,
you.
bye bye.
Bye bye.